I've always believed that if you work hard enough, you can create the life you want. And I did. From a small salon in Charleston, I built Everly's Spa and Beauty into the most prestigious spa chain in the area. I worked hard, lost time, energy, and even family time to achieve success. I thought that when I had all of those things, I would have a fulfilling life. And on the surface, my life was perfect. I have a beautiful home, a stable career, a successful husband and a smart, well-behaved little daughter. Lily, my daughter, is the light of my life. Every morning when I leave the house, she hugs me tightly, a bright smile on her little face, her hazel eyes shining with joy. Mom, are you coming home early? Let's make cake tonight, Lily chirped, her soft curly hair swaying with each step she took. Of course, honey, I smiled, promising, like every day. I didn't know that everything I had was just a fake picture. Little did I know that the man I loved most was hiding a dark secret. Little did I know that my mother-in-law, Elaine, was secretly setting a trap, waiting for the day to tighten its grip on me and my daughter. And the worst thing? I missed all those signs. Elaine never liked me. She was a powerful woman, born into a wealthy family, and looked down on those who were not of her class. In her eyes, I was just a lucky hairdresser who married her son. She was always polite and gentle in front of everyone. But when it was just me and her, the harsh words never stopped. A truly successful woman would not neglect her family to pursue a frivolous career. She once said over dinner, sipping wine, her eyes scornful. I got used to the sarcasm. I learned to ignore it, thinking that as long as I held on to my family, everything would be fine. But I was so naive. Little did I know that Elaine didn't just hate me, she wanted to get rid of me. And as Lily's birthday approached, I had no idea that it would be the fateful day that would change my life forever. Lily's 10th birthday was filled with joy and laughter. The garden was filled with balloons and twinkling lights. Friends, neighbors, and loved ones were all there to celebrate her birthday. I stood in the kitchen, putting the finishing touches on the last cupcakes with the soft frosting. My heart filled with happiness as I watched my daughter beam with joy among her friends. Everything was perfect, or at least, I thought so, until Elaine appeared. My mother-in-law walked into the backyard looking as perfect as ever, a silk dress of exquisite tailoring, her silver hair elegantly tied up in a bun. In her hand she held a luxurious gift bag, the logo of a luxury jewelry brand standing out under the yellow light. Sorry I'm late, she smiled gently, but I noticed something strange in her eyes. Lily ran to hug her grandmother, innocently like any child. Do you have a present for me? The little girl asked excitedly, her eyes sparkling with joy. Elaine smiled, slowly taking out a crimson jewelry box. The air suddenly became quiet. I felt my heart sink as she opened the box, revealing a sparkling rose gold watch, its face encrusted with tiny diamonds. It was too expensive, too elaborate, too inappropriate for a 10-year-old. A few of the guests gasped softly. Everyone knew the value of the gift. But what worried me most was Lily's reaction. The girl didn't smile. She wasn't excited. She didn't touch the gift. Instead, Lily clenched her hands, her eyes flashing with worry. Grandma, I don't want to wear it. Her voice was so small I almost didn't hear it. I was stunned. Lily had never refused a gift before. She was always polite, accepting it with gratitude whether she liked it or not. But this time, she was really scared. Daniel, my husband, glanced at his daughter with a puzzled look. Lily, I picked this out especially for you. Don't you like it? He asked gently. Lily shook her head, her voice trembling. It's not like that, Dad. It's just, I don't want to wear it. For a brief moment, it seemed like she was about to say something more. A secret, a truth. But then it stopped. And before I could ask, Lily ran straight into the house. No one said anything. No one knew what had just happened. But inside me, a feeling of unease surged like rolling waves. Something is wrong. And just days later, I would discover a horrifying secret, one that could destroy my entire family. Throughout the party, I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. Lily wasn't the kind of child who would refuse gifts for no reason. Especially from her grandmother. What had caused her to react like that? Why was she scared? I tried to act normal and continued to entertain guests. But inside I felt a growing sense of anxiety. After the party was over and everyone had left, I quietly walked up to Lily's room. The door was slightly open, the light from the night lamp casting a warm yellow glow. I saw her sitting on the bed, her arms tightly holding the crimson jewelry box. My childish face was filled with confusion. "Lily, honey?" I called softly. She looked up at me. There was a fear in her familiar hazel eyes that I had never seen before. "Mommy," her voice was soft. "I don't want this clock. I don't want it here." I sat down beside her and gently stroked her hair. "Why, honey? I picked it out for you." Lily pursed her lips. I saw her little fingers grip the edge of the blanket, as if she were trying to hide something. "She said it was special," she whispered. "She said it would help her take care of me, so she would always know where I was." My heart sank. "What do you mean?" I asked quickly, my breath catching. Lily shook her head, her voice dropping. "She said it was a secret. She told me not to tell anyone." A chill ran down my spine. I looked down at the box in my daughter's hands, then slowly opened it. The watch was still there, glinting in the light, but this time, I looked at it more closely. I turned it slightly, feeling the weight was heavier than usual. Something was wrong. With a strange impulse, I turned the watch over, and when I saw a very small gap in the back cover, a terrible fear came over me. "Honey, can I borrow it for a moment?" I said, trying to keep my voice calm. Lily nodded, but I could see she was still nervous. I took the watch to the kitchen and turned on the light. My hands were shaking as I used a small knife to gently pry open the back of the watch. And then I saw it. A tiny electronic device is hidden inside. A tracking device. My mother-in-law is supervising my daughter. I felt like the world was collapsing under my feet. Why is she doing this? Is she eavesdropping on us? Or does she have another purpose? The only answer that rang in my head, she wanted to control Lily. And worse yet, she didn't do it alone. I remembered how Daniel reacted when Lily turned down the watch. I remembered how he didn't seem surprised. He knew. Daniel knows about this tracking device. My husband cheated on me. Anger surged through me like a tidal wave. I clenched my fists and felt my breathing quicken. I was no longer the gentle wife standing behind her husband. I am a mother, and I will protect my daughter. I picked up the phone, my hands still shaking, but this time without hesitation. I dialed the number. When the voice on the other end of the line rang out, I whispered, "I need to report something. About a hidden tracking device in my daughter's watch. My mother-in-law has gone too far. Daniel betrayed me, and I won't let them hurt Lily again." The next morning, I woke up with a heavy feeling. My husband's betrayal and Elaine's manipulations kept me from sleeping. But now was not the time to give up. I had to act. I set the clock on the kitchen table, watching it as if I were watching a predator lurking in the shadows. Why would Elaine do this? She didn't just want to control Lily. She wanted to imprison her in her world. But what I still don't understand, why did Daniel let this go? I turned to look at my husband, who was leisurely enjoying his morning cup of coffee as if he had no dirty secrets. "Lily told me something last night," I began, my voice calm but with an undercurrent of turmoil. Daniel raised an eyebrow, putting the newspaper down. "Oh, what is it?" I took the watch and put it down on the table. "About this." He paused. It was a small reaction, but enough for me to realize he knew. "It was a gift from my mother to Lily," Daniel said, shrugging as if it were no big deal. "Is something wrong?" I clenched my fists. "Yes," I said, my voice cold. "It has a listening device inside." This time, Daniel completely froze. His eyes widened. Then he quickly regained his composure. But I saw a flash of panic in them. "What are you talking about? Everly? That doesn't make any sense." "Stop pretending," I interrupted. "I opened it. I saw. And I know you knew." The atmosphere in the kitchen became as tense as a string about to snap. Daniel put down his coffee cup and slowly stood up. "You're overthinking things," he said, his voice calm but I could hear the strain in it. "She's just worried about Lily. There's nothing to be afraid of." I chuckled. "It's scary when a liar tries to make you sound insane." "Really?" I smirked. "Then why did she tell Lily to keep it a secret? Why was she so scared to wear it?" Daniel was silent. He had no answer. I continued, my voice filled with indignation. "Not only did you know, You were complicit. You let your mother spy on our daughter. You wanted to control her and me. Daniel sighed, running his hand over his face. You don't understand, Everly, he said finally. Mom is just protecting the family. She thinks you're too busy with work. That you don't care enough about Lily. I clenched my fists so tight that my nails dug into my flesh. So she wants to take her away from me? I gritted my teeth. So she uses this to manipulate me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Daniel looked at me, his eyes no longer filled with remorse. You did what needed to be done. And in that moment, I realized, the man I've loved for the past 12 years has never really been on my side. I was so stupid to trust him. But now I'm not stupid anymore. I took a deep breath. Then calmly said, Daniel, get out of this house. He blinked, bewildered. What? You heard me. Pack your things and leave. I won't let my daughter live in the same house with a traitor. Daniel smiled faintly. You think you can get rid of me that easily? He stepped closer to me, his voice low and menacing. Everly, I am Lily's father. I have the right. I looked him straight in the eye. Without fear. You lost that right the moment you betrayed us. Just then, the doorbell rang. Daniel turned around, frowning. I folded my arms and smiled coldly. The police are here. Daniel. His face turned pale. The door opened, and 2 policemen walked in. Mr. Carter, we need you to come with us for questioning. Daniel turned to look at me, his eyes filled with hatred. You will regret this, he hissed. But I just looked at him, unmoved. No, Daniel, you're the one who will regret it. This time, I will not let anyone control me or my daughter. I stood at the door, watching the police lead Daniel to the car. I lost the husband I loved. But I still have my daughter. And I will fight to the end to protect her. Elaine and Daniel's game is over. Now, I will take back control of my life. After Daniel was taken away by the police, I stood on the porch, watching the red and blue lights slowly fade into the distance. I had won a battle, but the war was not over. Lily was waiting for me in the bedroom. She was huddled on the bed, her eyes worried as I entered. I sat down next to her, gently pulling her into my arms. Where's Dad, Mom? Lily asked softly, her voice trembling. I held her tighter. Daddy can't hurt you anymore. Lily's eyes flashed with fear. Dad knows about the watch too? I nodded. Dad sided with Grandma, honey, but Mom promised. She won't let anyone hurt you again. Lily was silent, then snuggled deeper into my arms. For the first time in weeks, she let out a long breath, as if a burden had finally been lifted from her heart. I sat by her side until she fell asleep. I knew this nightmare wasn't over. I had one last battle, to regain full custody of Lily and cut off all contact with Elaine. I hired the best lawyer in town and filed for divorce immediately. I didn't just want to end the marriage, I wanted full custody of the kids. Not long after, I received news. Elaine had hired a lawyer to gain visitation rights with Lily. She doesn't give up easily. She still thinks she can control me and my daughter. But she was wrong. I presented to the court all the evidence of her stalking, of Daniel's complicity, of the manipulation they attempted to impose on me and Lily. The trial lasted weeks. Elaine stood in court looking perfect, playing the role of a doting grandmother. But the truth could not be hidden forever. The evidence is clear. The police have confirmed the tracking device in Lily's watch. It is undeniable that Elaine is being investigated for invasion of privacy. Daniel tried to fight back, but it was too late. His career was ruined, his reputation tarnished. The day the verdict was announced, I held Lily's hand tightly. As the judge announced, Ms. Everly Carter was granted full custody of the child. Mr. Daniel Carter lost visitation rights, and Ms. Elaine Carter was banned from accessing the child. I won. I protected my daughter. Elaine sat there dumbfounded, and Daniel looked down. Both of them had lost the control they thought they could hold forever. I squeezed Lily's hand and whispered in her ear, "We are free now, my love." For the first time in a long time, I saw Lily smile for real. A few months after the divorce, I moved into a smaller but more cozy house. No more cold walls filled with memories of years of manipulation. I don't need a fancy house. I just need a place where my daughter is safe. Lily started to be a happy child again. She played more, laughed more. The nightmares gradually disappeared. One afternoon, while I was baking in the kitchen, Lily ran in, her eyes shining. "Mom, can we bake cookies tonight?" I looked up, saw my daughter, no longer afraid, no longer threatened by those who once wanted to control her. We won. We were free. I smiled, pulling her closer. "Of course, honey, we can do whatever we want now. Because this is our life. And no one will be able to hurt us anymore. Life after the storm isn't always easy. But freedom has its value." After gaining full custody of Lily, I devoted all my time to rebuilding our lives together. No more Daniel, no more Elaine's watchful eyes, no more feeling of being controlled. But the damage they leave behind does not easily disappear. Lily still has quiet days. Sometimes she suddenly jumps when she hears the phone ring, or squeezes my hand when we pass by jewelry stores. The fear from the past still haunts her. And I know we're not out of the dark yet. Even though the court had banned Elaine from approaching Lily, I knew she wouldn't give up that easily. I hired a security professional to check the house and car, and installed a surveillance system to make sure she no longer had any way to track us. But what I didn't expect was how she fought back. One day I received an envelope in the mailbox. There was no return address. Inside was a photo of Lily, taken from a distance. My hand clenched the photo. A chill ran down my spine. She is still watching us. I immediately called the police. But there was no clear evidence that Elaine had violated the restraining order. She was too smart to be caught. But I know. This is a warning. Elaine wanted me to know she was still there. Still watching. Still not giving up on Lily. I couldn't continue to live in fear. I couldn't let Lily grow up with the fear that her grandmother would come back and take her away from her at any moment. I have to end this. I had my attorney file for a permanent order of protection. Not only against Elaine, but against anyone who approached Lily on her behalf. I hired a private investigator to track her back. If she was following us, I wanted to know her every move. And finally, I decided to face her one last time. I met Elaine at the coffee shop she frequented. She was dressed impeccably as always, but I could see the tension beneath her calm exterior. "Everly," she said softly, but I heard the edge in it. "I didn't think you'd want to see me after all this." I put the photo on the table. "Stop it," I said bluntly. Elaine glanced at the photo, then shrugged, giving a sarcastic smile. "I don't know what you're talking about." I leaned forward, lowering my voice. "I know you're still watching Lily. I know you've never given up on controlling her. But listen carefully, Elaine, if you ever come near her again, I swear I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life." For the first time, I saw a flash of panic in her eyes. "You can't stop me forever. Everly," she said, her voice quieter. "Lily is my granddaughter. You can't take her away from me." I clenched my fists. "You ruined that opportunity when you decided to stalk it like an obsessive stalker. You're not its family. Families don't hurt each other like that." Elaine stared at me, anger flashing in her eyes. "But she has no power over me anymore." I stood up and looked at her one last time. "This is the last time I'm warning you. Never come near Lily again." I turned and left, leaving Elaine sitting there, alone in her own defeat. And I know, this battle is finally over. A year later, Lily and I finally had the peaceful life we had always wanted. No more lurking shadows, no more dark secrets. We moved to a small seaside town where Lily could play in the sand without any fear. One afternoon, while I was making tea in the kitchen, Lily ran in, her eyes shining. "Mom, can I go swimming with my friends?" I looked at her and saw that she was finally a carefree, happy child. "Of course, honey." As I watched her run out to sea, I knew we had won. I lost a lot of things, but I still have Lily. And that's all I need.